Hello, and welcome to Naptime Videos. My name is Philip, and today you'll be learning about hypothalamic control of the pituitary. Alright, well let's get started. The pituitary gland is divided into the posterior and anterior pituitary. The hypothalamus controls both the anterior and posterior pituitary in two different ways. Hypothalamic neurosecretory cells extend axons down the stalk of the pituitary and into the posterior lobe. These neurosecretory cells secrete oxytocin and antidiuretic hormone, ADH, directly into the capillaries of the posterior pituitary. Oxytocin plays a critical role in childbirth by causing the uterus to contract and stimulates the ejection of milk from the mammary glands. ADH regulates blood volume and salt concentration. Other hypothalamic neurosecretory cells control the anterior pituitary. The anterior pituitary releases a wide range of hormones that regulate secretions from other glands throughout the body. The hypothalamic neurosecretory cells release hypophysiotropic hormones, releasing hormones, into a portal blood circulation system that runs down the pituitary stalk into the anterior pituitary. Hypophysiotropic hormones secreted by hypothalamic neurons into the portal circulation travel downstream until they bind to specific receptors on the surface of pituitary cells. Once these pituitary receptors are activated, the anterior pituitary either secretes stimulating hormones or inhibitory hormones into the bloodstream. These stimulating/inhibitory hormones then act on target organs/glands such as the kidneys, gonads, and thyroid glands to produce a response. The responses of the target organs can act in a positive feedback loop in which the response stimulates the hypothalamus and anterior pituitary to produce more of the releasing and stimulating hormones to enhance the initial target response. The target responses can also act in a negative feedback loop, in which after a certain amount of the target response, the hypothalamus and anterior pituitary are inhibited from producing releasing and stimulating hormones, thereby stopping the initial target response. Now, let's take an example of hypothalamic control of the anterior pituitary. Say it was cold outside. The cold stimulus would be sensed by a sensory neuron, and the sensory neuron would send the information to the hypothalamus. Hypothalamic neurosecretory cells would then secrete thyrotropin-releasing hormone into the portal blood circulation. Thyrotropin-releasing hormone would travel downstream and act on receptors on the anterior pituitary, causing the anterior pituitary to release thyrotropin-stimulating hormone into the bloodstream. Thyrotropin-stimulating hormone travels in the bloodstream until it reaches the thyroid gland. Thyrotropin-stimulating hormone activates receptors on the thyroid gland and stimulates the thyroid gland to produce thyroxin. Thyroxin increases metabolism and increases internal body heat. After a certain amount of thyroxin is produced, thyroxin acts in a negative feedback loop and goes and inhibits the hypothalamus and anterior pituitary from producing thyrotropin-releasing hormone and thyrotropin-stimulating hormone.